Hi, everybody. I'm Helen Maldonado with NIA Professionals, and we have groups in Katy, Fulshire, Memorial, and even up in Cypress. I am here today with one of our awesome members from our Katy group. Carolyn Smith has held our health insurance seat for many, many years, and I'm so glad you're here with us today.
Thank you, Helen.
Tell us about you and your company because you're not just an insurance broker.
Nope.
You are pretty unique. Let's share.
I like to think so. I actually come from a background in healthcare. So I feel like I have kind of both sides of the coin, if you will. I
Yeah.
understand the healthcare, the doctors, the billing, and all that part of it, as well as the insurance side now. I like to say I'm a concierge insurance agency.
I just think that's brilliant because you are.
Yeah.
You're like the go-between, and you understand what they're going through on the hospital or doctor's side, and you also as the patient, your client, you're an advocate.
Yeah. And I think that's, I always say, with me, you don't call, I don't tell everybody to call the carrier all the time. I don't say call 1-800, whatever, occasionally things I can't do on my end, but for the most part, don't call 1-800. I don't know you. You call me, and I help you, through the process, whether that be putting you in contact with the right person or a three-way call. A lot of times it's just a matter of having someone that speaks the language that the carrier is going to understand. And like you said, also being the patient, understanding that part of it. And a lot of times, a lot of things that happen in the insurance world is just a matter of a misunderstanding. It might be a coding issue.
Yeah.
And it can cost a lot of money if somebody's not advocating for you and helping you along the way. And I understand on the patient side, it can be extremely frustrating.
Right.
So, I try to help that along as much as possible and take some frustration out of it. I know nobody is thrilled with having
a scam, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't understand it.
Right.
So having somebody walk you through and help you understand it and advocate for you.
Right.
That is super important. And I love that. Now, you've been a member in our NIA 3 or 4 years now? 4 years, I think. Tell me what your experience with NIA Professionals has been.
Well, what drew me to NIA was I wanted quality networking.
Yeah.
I didn't want the quantity, if you will. And when I went to visit other networking arenas, and that's what they kind of felt like. Yeah. It kind of felt like a circus. Yeah. I mean, everybody was running around doing their little sales pitches. And, a lot of them had requirements with how many, referrals you had to give, which in my mind also meant that what is the quality of those referrals going to be? I mean, if you're running a business and you're taking care of your clients, I could see the push of, oh my gosh, I've got to have a referral. Who am I going to?
Right.
And I don't want that. I want someone being referred to me that is a good lead.
Right.
Because otherwise it's just wasting my time.
Yeah.
And theirs, so I just wasn't a big fan of that. I don't like to meet 100 times a month. And some of them, it kind of felt like that. I liked the environment at NIA. It felt very community. Everybody kind of knows each other because, again, you do spend time.
Yeah.
It's not the rush.
Yeah.
To get through everything. There's agendas. So I do also feel like frequently I'm learning something, which is always a bonus. I basically wanted something that when I took a slot out of my schedule, it was doing dual purpose.
Yeah.
And if I can learn something and I can do networking and build some relationships, that's a win-win.
That's awesome. That is so awesome because I couldn't have said it better myself. that does set NIA apart from all the other networking. I was having a conversation earlier with another member about our time and what our time value is. So if you can break it down like attorneys break it down by their hourly rate, if you calculate your hourly rate and then you look at all the other networking that's out there, it costs you so much more to be in other networking groups, whether they're paid groups or free groups. It costs you money, and a lot of people don't realize that. If you calculated your time at $100 an hour, and without factoring membership costs, if you were in a paid group, just your time, if you're required to be there every single week, it costs you $7,800 a year. It costs you in your time.
Right.
And so that's why NIA only has that once a month required meeting. Yes, we have a lot of extra events. Those are all optional. And those are to draw other people to our members, to introduce other people to our members, and to introduce them to the possibility of what networking with NIA and NIA style could do for their business. So,
well, and that's another thing that I really was drawn to with NIA is, I am a mother of 3 children. And when I joined NIA, my daughter was still in school and very active, involved in several activities. And my schedule was tight in the evenings. And so I could, we don't have 14 activities on Tuesday and there's an NIA event, I can make that one, so it did give me some flexibility to choose, when I could.
Yeah, we try to spread out our extra events so that they're on different days. So occasionally.
And times of the day. Yeah. And times of the day. So
absolutely.
that was also a big draw, is that I think when you're a parent and you have a business, it's always a challenge. And I feel like, the NIA schedule really worked with all that.
Yeah, we want you to have your family come first.
Exactly.
And your business.
Yeah. And those hours should be double.
I agree. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today. And thank you guys. We'll see y'all next time.